What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. And today's video is very exciting because we are finally going to install the nitrous on the 2019 Camaro SS. That is right, guys. I am super excited and I cannot wait to show you guys all the steps and procedures to get the nitrous kit installed properly. And it is a very beautiful day out here in Houston. It is actually pretty windy, so we're going to be mostly in the garage. Now, I'm going to give you guys a nice cold startup for probably the last time in a while, because it is going to take multiple steps to install the nitrous kit. I will be showing you guys all the parts and everything that I have, and probably break this up into a couple parts just because it is a lot and do not want to make a hour to 2 hour long video on how to do it. So we'll divide it into different parts and kind of work our way, you know, day 1, day 2, day 3. So let's go ahead and give you the cold startup and move the car around, set it up, and then show you all the parts that we have and start going piece by piece and seeing how we're going to tackle this and what the next steps are going to be.
Never gets old, never gets old.
Alright, so we've got the car up. I don't need to raise it up too far right now because we're not going to be getting under the car just yet. But check it out, guys. Again, there is a lot of parts in this nitrous kit system, and this is the main system. This does not include any of the fuel system parts, and that'll be covered in a separate video. Today's video, what I want to do is go ahead and mount all this hardware. So the plate, the two nitrous solenoids, the hard lines, the big purge nitrous kit, and of course mounting the brackets for the nitrous bottle. So as you guys can see, nitrous outlet provides you with quite a bit of stuff. We've got some wiring here, we've got the fuel stuff which we're not going to use, and I'll explain why in a little bit. We've got the relay, a lot of screws, bolts, connectors, and of course even more bolts and connectors. And then of course the jets, which we will be using at the very end. I did go ahead and buy some extra 14 gauge wire for the wiring with the switch panel and all that stuff. I do have this specific thing here is from JMS, and it is a throttle position pigtail. So basically this is how we're going to be able to get the throttle pedal position without having to splice into the factory throttle pedal, which is a very small harness, and don't want to be touching that. That is $30, and you got to call them and order it from them. So we have that, of course, the nitrous big purge. We've got the pressure gauge for the nitrous bottle, and then our nitrous mini controller along with all of the wires. And then here is our Lingenfelter LNC 2014 launch control module, and that is this whole harness here in this box that will control your timing if we want to pull any type of degrees of timing, or also our RPM limiter. And so I'm excited to get all this connected as well. There's quite a few parts, comes with a nice little thing, and so we've got a nice instruction manual there. Super in-depth, guys, but we're gonna take it one step at a time and show you guys just kind of how to work your way down. Okay, so first thing we're gonna focus on is installing the nitrous plate, and of course our fuel solenoid and our nitrous solenoid with our purge kit. Of course, this is the hard line made specifically for the MSD intake, and this is the fuel line, but we will not be using this fuel line, so we can kind of put this to the side. And again, we're just working on the hardware right now, so let's go ahead and look at the engine bay and see what needs to happen. Alright guys, so we removed the throttle body and the adapter, and of course when we had just the adapter, it came with these socket set screws that kind of gets it flush, and as you guys can see here, they are right up to the back end and work perfectly. But when we go ahead and add the nitrous outlet plate kit, which you guys can see here has the spray bars down inside of it, when we add this, you get the following. So if we put it into the hole here, completely flush, and it does not reach. So what I did is I had to go find longer screws of these, and now these are M6 by 1.0, and I found the following. These right here are the same thing as these, just that these are 40 millimeters in length, and these are pretty much the perfect length for use with the adapter and this nitrous plate kit. And as you guys can see here, it fits just the right amount and ensures that it uses up all the thread. So those are the ones that I'm going to be using. Again, these are M6 by 1.0, 40 millimeters. I also got 35 millimeters just in case these were too long, but I don't think that's going to be the case. This is going to be able to work right perfect with this and not bottom out. So let's go ahead and put it all back together and see how we're going to deal with the limited space here for our intake elbow. Okay guys, so we managed to get this to fit, and man, was it tight. I mean, I don't think it's even nice and flush here. It's really a little different angle, but it is basically sitting on the shroud here where it was digging in. It doesn't seem like it's actually, if you kind of see there, you can see some gap and some daylight, so it's not too bad. But we were able to get it all to fit with the adapter, so that was really nice. Now, because we got the plate, it does kind of negate the effect of, I think, the smoothness transition from the Solar Performance spacer, which is actually really great, by the way. Now, obviously, a lot of people do rim out these holes on the LT5 so that you don't need to run a spacer, which would probably be the best thing that I can do moving forward later on. But for now, we're going to run this, and maybe later on switch this out, or maybe upgrade to a 103 millimeter K-Tech throttle body that will basically kind of match this thing and not need the spacer, and I can maybe sell this and move on to a bigger upgrade. But for now, we're going to leave this as is and continue with the install. We've got the nitrous solenoids already installed, the nitrous plate. Let's go ahead and run the lines and show you how that all works. Alright guys, so now we're ready to install these nitrous lines, and as you see, one end already has kind of like a fitting, and it's labeled with a color, and of course that corresponds to the type of line it's for. This is for your fuel line. Fuel is the red line, and the plate itself also tells you where the nitrous and where the fuel goes. And so what you want to do is make sure that this is kind of loose on both ends, because these are fitted lines and you don't want to force anything in. And what you're going to do is, on one side it's got the fitting all ready to go, that goes here. The other side, as you guys can see, is just a straight line, but what you are going to use is this here, and it's kind of hard to see. There's two pieces here. There's the cap end, and then there's this little ball flange, and that slips right over the end piece here like this, and of course with the cap there, and it just is going to slide right in here and create a seal this way. So you, with this little cap, I'll show you guys, you're going to put this cap and then this, and it'll basically create a nice seal there and the seal over here. But you want to go ahead and loosen this up so that you have enough play back and forth between the hard lines, because of course these aren't exact, and get everything right where it needs to be, and then tighten everything up. Alright guys, there you have it. So we've got the nitrous outlet plate, we've got the hard lines. Now these aren't exact, like I said, you do have to kind of fit them in here, sit them in here, and then try to get the bracket to fit right. This nitrous one did kind of bend just slightly, but it's not going to affect or do anything to it, so we should be good to go. Now we have to figure out how we're going to install these actually, because as you guys can see, the end is coming here, but we have the purge kit, and the purge kit actually needs to be sitting right next to the nitrous solenoid. So I think we're gonna have to undo all this and basically flip. As you guys can see here, you just screw it on both ends and flip this nitrous outlets on to be basically upside down and showing the purge kit off to the side here. So guys, here's what you get with the purge kit, and you've obviously got your relay for the purge. You've got the fittings. One is for the bottom for the exit, and then the other one is so that you can tie it in with the main nitrous solenoid. Kind of taps off right off the end. And then of course you get a button that you can wire up with the relay, and you get this kind of flexible tubing, and you can basically unwind and bend this out exactly how you would like. And we start to figure that out, and it comes with this little manifold, which I guess you could put in line. Not sure. I guess if you wanted to run it from not off of this solenoid and use it just like its individual kit just to purge nitrous without purging this nitrous solenoid, you can add this in line and tap out into this piece here. So we're not going to be using this, I don't believe. So let me go ahead and put it all together. Alright guys, so here we have it. I've gone ahead and added the second nitrous solenoid, which pretty much is the same size as the main one, and got everything connected, tightened down. And now, as you guys can see here, we've got this flexible tube which we can kind of bend and manipulate however we want. So man, this is pretty heavy. We're gonna go ahead and install that here, and you guys can see kind of how it sits and what we're gonna do. We're gonna have to reroute this. I was trying to see if we can get it to possibly spray out of the hood here. I need to basically see where it lines up, and if maybe we need to drill a little hole or something to get the spray to come out that way. If not, I might just have it bend route back and out of the front cowl. So let's go ahead and put everything all back and show you guys what it looks like. So guys, we are done with the actual physical hardware here as far as installing the plate, running the lines, and setting up the nitrous solenoids to be in the right spot. I did have to again flip these so that the nitrous line could kind of come right in here, and the fuel line did the same thing because it was kind of pointed downwards right into the injector connection. So I did flip that out, and so now we can go ahead and move to the trunk and go ahead and install the tank brackets. Nitrous outlet provides you with two brackets. One, as you guys can see, has a smaller stand than the other, and of course that's because you want this bottle to be at an angle when it's installed. And now this bottle, when you see it here, has, I believe, a tube that goes all the way down the bottom and then angles to one side, and in this case you want it to go facing downwards, right like so. So you want that bottle to be in that angled position, and you install these brackets on the trunk, and I'll show you guys right now where we're going to install them. And I believe you do get these, or the bolts that you can use, and the nuts to lock these brackets in place. And let's get to it. Okay guys, so here's the trunk of the Camaro, and it's pretty small, but it is just the perfect size for a bottle back in that area. Now, of course, I picked this area because under here there's actually some nice sturdy floor on the back side. This front side here is kind of empty, and so you don't want to screw the bottle into something that's going to be flipping up and down. Not to mention, my fuel cell is going to be going right in this area here, so we don't want to be able to block the access to try to fill that tank back up. So that is going to be the best spot for this tank. And of course, like I mentioned, we're going to do a bracket probably right around here and another bracket right around here. And so what we got to go is back in here and make sure that we can find the right holes, drill them out, and get this installed. Alright guys, so I finally drilled the holes, and Man, did it take quite a bit of measuring and checking and raising the car up. I am so glad I have the quick jacks to be able to raise the car up and down quickly, because as you guys can see, there's quite a bit of stuff here, and one thing I had to double check was to make sure that there's nothing under this area here that can obstruct or not let me have access to be able to put the nut on the bottom side. And then after that was all said and done, I had to find, make sure my measurements were right, and I used the following to make sure I had the perfect size hole. Guys, this right here is a step drill, and I bought this kit. Came with a bunch of different sizes for all kinds of stuff, and even has a punch to make sure you get the hole started right. And I went 3/8, so it was 3 steps to get the hole to the perfect size. And now the hole's lined up, and as you guys can see here, we have everything kind of fitting just right there on this end, and then on this end we've got the same thing happening. We just got to go ahead now and bolt it down, but before I do, I am going to put this back on and do the measurements and cut little slits on this back side here where this will be able to go through, and that way it'll still have nice carpeting under. So we've got the holes made. Now before we can do that, we got to go ahead and measure out and do the holes on the carpet. They are finally in, guys, and I think it came out pretty damn good. Now I had to end up I'm by myself, so I couldn't have someone holding the top one while I tightened down in the bottom end. But what I did was I was able to use this little open-ended one and kind of lock it in place with the bracket and then tighten from the bottom. The one on the left side was a lot more difficult to get to, but I could still access the holes and use this ratcheting wrench, which was very, very easy. And this bottom lower bracket one was super simple, a lot of space around there, but all the bolts are tight and nothing is hitting anything else. Everything is right a-okay. So now we can go ahead and install the bottle and see how it looks, guys. Check it out, guys. Perfect. You've got your gauge there so you can see, and I've still got the space here for my nitrous line to get plugged in, and I can probably cut a hole and route it in there so that it's not visible and hidden all the way around. But it fit just perfect, and the best part about it is it does not block my view from having the fuel system for the nitrous kit, the dedicated fuel system for the nitrous kit installed and access to it. Really like how it came out, and I like that I'm able to see the gauge there. It is a glow-in-the-dark gauge, so you can see it at night. And yeah, guys, it's coming along pretty well. So we've installed that whole tank in the back. We've installed the solenoids in the front. Now all we need is to run the nitrous line that's going to go from the bottle here, and that we're going to be doing in the next episode. So make sure you stick around for part 2, where we finish up the fuel line and we go ahead and we finish up the fuel line, which is this right here, and then we're going to go ahead and get started on the dedicated fuel system. That's got a lot of fittings, a lot of pieces, and it's going to be interesting. There's not many instructions with this stuff, so you kind of have to go with as you're going one step at a time and take it very slow and very meticulous. Guys, this is day 1, and I'm probably going to be day 1 of a few. I've still got to route my purge line to make sure that I get that exactly where I wanted, and of course put in the fuel jets and the nitrous jet and all that stuff. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button if you like this video, and I hope it kind of helps some people. There's, like I said, not a lot of instructions with this nitrous kit, so having someone do it and give you guys the ins and outs on how to do it on your car is really helpful. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, hit the thumbs up button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.